That last video just messed up. My external ejected out. That is off the hook. But yeah, like, subscribe, ID in the Discovery channel. Yes, ID in the Discovery channel. The links are provided below. Get that Discovery Go app as well as that ID Go app. You might want to get those two things and combine them, make them into one. But yeah, shouts out to Ohio. Wife swap and murder. A Jacob Stockdale, Ohio. The killing of a mother, yeah, and his brother by his own two hands. What sense does that make? I'm wondering, does appearing on the show Wife Swap inspire actors and actresses to kill their blood relatives? You just seen his face. What point in position? Yeah, because see, family members oftentimes have hatred for one another. That's just human beings in general. But yeah, Jacob Stockdale, age 26, killed his mother, Catherine, and his 21-year-old brother, James, back in 2017. Stockdale, the killer, appeared on the show Wife Swap, which aired on ABC as a series. He's been charged with 2 counts of murder in relation, yes, to once again both the brother and his mother's death. He kind of looks, well, they say you shouldn't judge upon looks, and yet sometimes I do, because sometimes even emotion stands in the face, right? The way that he looks in the face, not the attractive or nothing like that, the emotional level or whatnot. Yes, so he's being charged with 2 counts of murder in relation to the mother and the brother's death. But yeah, after Stockdale killed each one, he then turned the gun on himself, resulting in 1 shot to the head. Somehow Stockdale lived through the self-affliction. Yeah, the gunshot. People do in fact live through that sort of thing. Doctors had to repair the damage via surgery, and he also had to go to rehab for that self-inflicted gunshot wound or whatnot. This goes back to other videos that I made before. Why not just turn the gun on yourself and let that be the end of that? I'm guessing some people like to take their loved ones with them. I don't know. So along with Stockdale's surgery, once again, yes, included rehab. It said he's to face 15 years to life for each charge. Authorities waited to charge him to give him time to heal, despite the murders again happening or taking place in 2017. That's odd in itself, because see, some people in fact are not given that privilege, and yet to stand before a judge is to say, well, they want to make sure you're coherent, fully able to stand trial and not being incoherent, because even gunshots mess up thinking processes and all the rest with the register, that sort of thing, right? Some people don't get it off that easy, if that makes sense. Not get it off like that in a sexual way, sexual manner, none of that. But some people don't get off that easy. Yeah, there's in fact systems out here that will say, well, who cares that you got a self-inflicted wound, gunshot wound? They would in fact make it go to trial and serve time anyway. This is an odd situation. Yeah, once again, people are oftentimes, and more so various races of people are not, more so black males oftentimes are not, given the sort of privilege. So the authorities stated they wanted him to be able to mentally be there in awareness enough to stand trial, and I just said that, so that he can know what is in fact happening when it comes to judgment in the courtroom. So Stark County Sheriff's Office didn't release info on a motive. Stockdale's family history carries, they were in fact his family, because see, when stuff like that happen, the murder and double murder, suicide and stuff like that, people be want to know about family history. They were devout religious people. Maybe I should just kick my own comment to that to the side. That way people don't think I'm being judgmental. And yet that's to say, once again, all human beings are imperfect and can't escape turmoil even through religion. It helps to calm you and all the rest, and yet, yeah, let me just leave that sort of thing alone. But that was the family background, and the family were homeschooled. Yeah, they in fact followed strict rules put in place by the mother. The mother put that sort of thing in place. And she didn't want pop culture to have a negative effect on the kids' minds. Sometimes when you have a strict household, and sometimes too strict, that's where kids oftentimes grow up and get carried away, because oftentimes they have a passionate hatred for you. Because sometimes parents get carried away with having a household too strict. I think if I had kids, I would be that way. Highly strict, right? My kids would probably hate me, which could be why I don't have any, right? But you do have children that do grow up under rules where the parents are real strict. And then one day the kids grow up and they try to in fact harm or kill their parents. Things like that result in that. Because even that's going to cause some miscommunication issues. I'm thinking in sensing children would in fact question why be that strict. Because even that can lead to beatings and all the rest, but it never was. Yeah, it was never said whether his mother physically abused him, Mr. Stockdale, for him to want to kill not just her but the brother as well. Maybe it's more mental issues to that. So John Ferrero, a Stark County prosecutor, stated a grand jury holds no interest in the death penalty for Jacob Stockdale. No death penalty awaits him. Show would be nice. I'm saying, first off, before me even saying that, let me go back on even that. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe the root cause should be found out. And then my statement should come after that, as in the follow. Because I would so love to know what more is up underneath that pertaining to the mother and the relationship issues. And if there was, say, a male figure in the house that wasn't right, or that didn't play his part, or could have been abusive. Because I said before, sometimes women are known to put their husbands before their kids. Sometimes even the father before the kids, and the kids would in fact not like that. Endure emotional turmoil from that, right? There be emotional, sometimes stunted growth with that emotionally, which is how people grow up and harm their own parents. There's so many questions around even the situation, right? And once again, in me saying that, that's not for me to make excuses for even him being 26 years old. He's old enough to know. But the diving deeper, why would you want to kill your mama? Look at him. Why would you want to kill your mama, and not only that, your brother? Because some people in fact hate their own parents and yet have more love for their siblings. And yet for you to hate both of them is to say, well, something must have been wrong with the household. Well, not only the mother, but the brother as well. If there's no mental issues with Mr. Stockdale himself, it's to ask, well, what else could have been there? Wife swap. I think I watched Wife Swap a few times and that was it. I think because I vaguely remember when that show first came out, how people used to judge it. Because of the title alone. The title is the very thing which draws viewers in, which is why a lot of shows are titled in the way that they are. Catchphrases and all that other stuff to hook you in, lure you in, right? Some people have found out that over the years by the ways of usage of YouTube, because even that is to be found on here, where some people call it clickbait. And that's been going on even since the beginning of time with the entertainment industry. But a wife swap. I vaguely remember older people not liking the title of that show, because what it sounded like was swingers. When you think, oh well, you know, wife swap, not in the manner of what the show is completely about, but people trading various partners sexually. I remember really religious people talking about that. That is so odd. My long-term memory, my short-term memory is completely jacked up, but my long-term memory is completely stabilized. Let me tell you, yeah, because people used to be going in like, what, wife swap? You mean these people are swinging, changing and exchanging? As soon as it first came on the air, that's all I heard from Christian folks. You would hear pastors discussing wife swap in the pulpit about the show's wife swap. People are now swinging, and that's going to have an influence on American society as well. And preachers, going in about that, right? That is completely not, no. It helps to have an open mind. Yeah, even back then it did, because I try to keep a very highly open mind with stuff. By the way, these videos are in fact blogs, which is why my personal opinion is placed in infiltration as well, saying what I feel, think, and perceive the world with, right? To have an open mind on a wife swap is to say, well, wife swap? Swingers. Do I get into swinging? Am I a swinger? Would I ever consider being a swinger, despite the show not being about that? And yet, to read between the lines is to even do just that in the form of entertainment, of why a show will be titled in that way, despite the show not being fully presented in that manner. Is to ask even your question: if you had the opportunity, would you get into swinging, the swinger activity with that sort of thing? Some people can't think open-minded enough to even ask themselves that. They'll just automatically shut it down. As in, oh, I would never do this, or I would never do that. Well, how do you know? Because you ain't never even been presented with it. Or maybe you have. But for people that they're closed-minded, well, I would never do this. Well, never say what you never will do. You never know if something was presented to you, opportunity with that. The bedroom and the making fit with that as an embedding process. People, that is so intriguing. I had to go off topic for a little bit because discovery is all about education and analysis with that sort of thing, and keeping an open mind up enough just to consider. If you're not a swinger, and the show wife swap is not about that sort of thing, if you was ever presented with that sort of opportunity, would you yourself in fact take it? Outside of Jacob Stockdale and him wanting to kill his mother and brother. Do people question this far in American society? I think they should. Because see, as time go on and life goes further and all progresses, right? Acceptance of various lifestyles and all the rest is to say, even society will begin to start to shift and take its own manner, course, or route away from, in the form of like deviance, away from normal society in a sense, where things evolution plays into that. Various activities, people not say living that they're going on the outside or the outskirts of the normal activity of just rituals of man and woman being married, and there being more multiple partners and all the rest with that sort of thing, right? I don't know. I like to question stuff like that, because I don't never even know. You don't never even know. In American culture and society, what is to come next, as in play on even a TV screen with that sort of thing, which is why it helps too, because I had to even school not an ex-friend, but kind of former friend about that sort of thing, trying to remain open-minded enough to not say, when you hear the word swinger or something like that, to not hurry up and run off. Do, in a sense, not do that with everything. Some people, in fact, do that with everything. The fear in that well, this is my first time hearing about such and such. So I haven't really, heard about, and I don't really know about too much. And then they get fearful and then they just run off. What about taking the time to actually learn? Because even the people like that, swingers, can teach you something. Hell, when I said I like Amish people because they live outside a normal society, as in they're kind of considered deviant outside of normal society, right? Even swingers are something to be learned from. There's a highly educational process with that, because even sometimes children fit into the picture as well, which is when you got people that they're used to being raised a certain religion, such as this man. I'm sure he was raised, like I said already, a devout religious person, right? To say that outside of Wife Swap, the TV show, and actually talking about real swingers, despite the show not having anything to do with that, is to say some of those people are in fact husband and wives, and they get down the way that they get down, and yet many of them in fact have children. So the question, well, what do they tell their children? Or do they tell them at all, depending on the child's age or the children's age? If I'm a swinger and I got children, they're 9, 10, 11 years old, how would I tell them mommy and daddy gets into swinging? Or do that comes later, as I wait till they're about 18, 19 years old to tell them? That's psychology as well. The asking, the what, when, where, how, and all the rest, right? It helps to have an intriguing, I won't say intriguing mind, because that sounds like I'm building myself up, and yet it is good to build yourself even in challenging the brain, right? Sometimes in life you come across people, because I know I have in the past came across people that said, well, like I said before, they would say, well, I would never try this, or I would never try that. And then years later come to find out they're trying the very thing that they said they would never do. Because even sometimes life purposely issue you an experience to try things so that you can learn, see, and grow, and make use of the knowledge of the world and pass it on to other individuals, right? Yeah, because I've come across people, man, and you come across so many people in a lifetime. Oh, I would never do this, and then before you know it, they're a swinger or something like that, and you're like, what? I thought you said, yeah, well, I thought so too, right? You don't even know. It just helped to say. That's why when I talk, a lot of times I try to say I will never. I learned that in the past. Usually never say what you would never do, because see, even your own mind don't know. Our lives is ran by our subconscious mind, as in our mind constantly feeds on the past activities, past choices, and all the rest, right? And yet sometimes even the mind itself wants to expand outside of a comfort level, as in going further, walking further, right? So you're going to meet people in life, and you might say, well, I would never hang out with such and such because they're into whatever type of whatever, right? And then next thing you know, you're doing the same thing. And yet it's 4 or 5 years later on. So that's why I usually never say, well, that's why I just caught myself. That's why I usually try to not say never. Because there's individuals right here on YouTube that I don't really watch all like that. Lately, I've been taking a break from watching things, right? I've been trying to watch my own mind, work on my own thought processes and all the rest, right? And there's an individual on YouTube right here that, in fact, always says never. And I be want to tell him so bad, because he's a cool dude, right? I'm not going to say his name. A lot of people know who he is, right? To constantly say, I'm never going to, oh, I would never do, oh, I would never. He does that almost like in every video. And it has become a habit, to the fact that he's programmed his subconscious mind to just constantly say never. And my thing is, I just be wanting to tell him so bad, you keep saying never. And I'm thinking possibly 4 or 5 years from now, all the stuff that you said you will never do, you're possibly going to slowly progress into doing it. Because you're repeating all this stuff over and over about I would never, I would never, I would never. Because I just, in the past, all the stuff that I said I would never do, I ended up doing it. Helps to be the example and say where you sometimes, I won't say be a loser or fuck up with that sort of thing. Take the chance, right? You just don't never know with the choices on a never. Are you sure you will never? Yeah, using never is kind of like not good. I don't think. I don't judge nobody that use it, the phrase, term, however you want to call it, right? When I say phrase, I'm almost saying like a whole bold statement, because that is in fact what it stands for. It stands loud. Never, I will never, right? You're just making a bold, amplified statement. And every time I keep looking back, I look over all the stuff that I said I would never do. And some of the stuff I'm in fact doing right now, here and today. I can't even say it on camera. Probably get in trouble for that sort of thing. But that is intriguing in itself. Helps to watch your words or something. Words, in fact, have power. So, I think that's all to be said for now. That is odd in itself. I wonder which viewer out there is, in fact, doing certain things in which you said you will never do. And yet, right now in 2018, you're more than likely doing it. If you can go back 5, 6, sometimes as far as 10 years. That is so odd. Because I remember having a discussion. What year was that? That had to be like 2014. No, that had to be 2013. When I was going in discussion about stuff in relation to industry stuff. And somebody wanted to talk all deep and dive and delve with that sort of thing. And I was like, because you should never want to this and this and that. And I already done plowed through that on the never. So I just basically stepped on never. I think that's all to be said. I'll be going all off course, and I should. So right here, recommended for you. Shouts out to Paula. Description is up underneath each one of these, as in they can be in fact seen, right? To add to favorites is in fact click the plus sign. Shattered. Fatal Vows. American Monster. Evil lives here. Why am I messing up again? Evil lives here. Once again, description is all. It can be found. What is in fact live now, you ask? 48 hours on ID season 14. It stands right here up in the far left. The ID logo stands there as well. Unlocked episodes. To get a visual preview is to in fact click the play button. There's a description right here. You can in fact add the watch later by clicking the plus. Clicking here is going to take you to both video and sound. Unmasked. I don't care too much for killer clowns. How do you, the viewer, feel about that sort of thing? When I made the video about John Wayne Gacy, that was some months back or some weeks back. Killer clowns. Oh, I should make a video about that time when I went outside in the middle of the night and I saw somebody standing there in an all white robe. More than likely KKK. Let me leave that alone. They in fact exist. Because to be surrounded by Republicans is to say you never know. I got love for each side, all sides, but I don't have love for people trying to kill people and lynch people. I make that, leave that for another video. But to get on the other side of this is in fact padlock key, right? You're going to need your provider for that sort of thing. Provider, subscriber, any you choose. To get access, to gain access. So Evil Twins season 6 episode 1. These are still, continuous to scroll through of the shows. On last night, The Case That Haunts Me. Each time I scroll through fast like that, I wonder who in fact gets dizzy. Unlocked series. Anybody ever been stalked? Did I make a video about that? My stomach is growling. I should play this video back to see how loud it is. Feeling gassy right now. That's a true statement. ID Go original series. True Nightmares, Tales of Evil. Stomach ever get bloated? Real gassy. Some people, in fact, get... The oddest thing I've heard people say that they get gassy based off of eating salads. My mom is one of those people. She eats salads and she gets real gassy. She hates lettuce. And yet lettuce, in fact, is one of those things. I don't know why. I think because I ate Doritos or something. You hear that? My mic probably picked it up a little bit. That's off the hook. So yes, support to Save the Children's hurricane relief efforts. You can in fact donate here by clicking donate right here. Crime feed news. Woman tricked. Woman tricked into stabbing friend with a real knife at haunted house. It seemed like as time go on, people have always been crazy, batshit crazy and nutty, right? And yet as time goes on, when it comes to stuff like this, scenarios, haunted houses, people be really going deep. Bringing out butcher knives, standing outside people's houses. People going trick or treat and taking their kids, 5, 6 years old kids. And people standing outside with chainsaws and stuff. That is off the hook. Yeah, so to be directed to the crime feed is in fact click right within here. You're going to be directed to the outside to the crime feed. Crimefeed.com. It's Discovery's crime feed news. Latest and greatest with that sort of thing. Full of all type of killings, murders, not killing sprees, but somewhat, right? A lot of devastation is held over, yes, over on the crime feed news. Crimefeed.com. You hear some of the most. There's it's compartmentalized as well. Florida has its own news. Parents, they have their own news. The sections, I'm saying, as it's divided up in category. Florida news is off the hook. I said that already. Discovery bad parent news, that's completely wilded out, because you be like, what? That mama did what to her child? Oh, nah, homie. She should never even had it. You, in fact, viewer, you leave me a comment in the comment section, whatever you like, think, and feel, and express with that you can do. I'm open to that. But yeah, you need to check that out. Crimefeed.com, Discovery's news. It's completely off the gangbang. No war involved. The stuff that you see about these mommies and these daddies, how they, treat their kids. And the way they be killing them and all that. You be like, what? Is that even real? I'll leave that alone. So, I'm going to, in fact, end this video out. It's been a great night. Hope you enjoy the video. Once again, leave a comment or whatnot. And I am gone for now. When it comes to Jacob Stockdale, I don't even know what else to say about him. I've already said it already. And yet he just got off somewhat so easy about the healing process. Them letting him heal. Because all the time you see people that be in their jumpsuit and they got mental issues or whatever. They done had wounds or gunshot, whatever, right, in the body. I don't know, more so in the head or whatnot. And yet they done got into something where they was shot or is in need of healing, and yet they was still forced to go to jail in a orange or blue jumpsuit. That's only fair to even his mother and his brother. So let me end this video out. That's all to be said for now, and I'm gone.